So we had done a lot when the year had started, but you couldn't really see any of what we'd done. So this year...
Yeah, let's boost my ego and actually have a look at what we have done in the past 12 months. What I'm doing here is I'm just building a bit of a bulkhead. So I want to obviously partition the garage off, but I don't want to screw straight into the bed frame. I'd rather screw into the wood. The difficult bit is working out where to put the battens on the floor, because obviously you can't use a spirit level. I think I'm going to have to measure probably the length of the bed frame, but even then that's going to be quite tricky, because if I then sort of superimpose that onto the floor, I need to make sure that it's in the right place on the floor at the other end if I'm measuring. It's all a bit, yeah, a bit tricky. Probably better to do it almost by eye, make it look level. Right, so this is what I've done. I have screwed a batten in the floor, put an upright in on that side. That is just over 400mm wide. It's the same at the bottom and at the top. I've also kept a gap because obviously water pipes are going to run down there. So basically the boarding... Hello. Hello. What are you doing?
It's blustery and horrible out there. What have you been up to?
I've just been doing the boarding here. Well, I've been setting up a bulkhead in between here. But I don't think I can actually put the boarding in, because I don't know if you can see out there, the weather is pretty horrific now.
Beautiful.
But this is like the world's longest project. It's like, it just feels like a never-ending project to do a little bit at a time, all the time. That's the joy of having kids, I suppose.
Come and sit with me. I'm going to show you, because I just found some footage of our van from 1 year ago. So it was like February the 1st or something.
You're going to sit in here?
Yeah, I'm going to sit. Well, it is freezing.
I think we're going to need a heater.
But I just really need to be safe. I'm just so sick of waiting for any luck to come my way.
Isn't that a convenient little space for it, where a fridge is supposed to go?
That's one job I need to do.
Do you know what? At the moment, though, I'll take the heater over the fridge.
Happy now you got a heater?
Yeah, much happier.
It's quite handy to have the EcoFlow, because you don't have to use the diesel heater then and waste my diesel. That was charged up using the solar panels, so free heat for everyone.
Free heat. So, back in February of last year, I was obviously pregnant and feeling really rough. However, we had already started doing quite a lot in the van build. Those of you who follow us already will know that. However, you know, we hadn't really... It doesn't look, in this picture, I'll put it on the screen now. Bing! It doesn't look like we'd done a lot, does it?
No, no. A lot of this stuff had been done, so by that point we'd done the windows. Well, we hadn't done the windows, we'd had the windows put in. We'd had the roof rack put on by Jed at Campervan Culture. Solar panels put on that. Yeah. We had cut the skylight in, so that was in.
Is Daddy on the roof, Bentley? You're a bit worried about this. Yeah, I had to look quite closely at this to see where the skylight was, but we put the insulation in the roof as well.
Yeah.
There was a lot. If you look at the picture, there was a lot that you had already done. It just looked very bare because it was all the boring stuff. It is.
I must admit, it is a bit demoralising when certainly that first stage where it just takes forever.
So we had done a lot when the year had started, but you couldn't really see any of what we'd done. So this year...
Yeah, let's boost my ego and actually have a look at what we have done in the past 12 months.
We're really excited to be bringing you a paid partnership with BetterHelp. I'm so glad that I get to talk to you about better mental health and how you can achieve it. Christmas can be a particularly difficult time of year, what with the stresses of trying to see all your family, cooking, buying presents, and it's really easy to feel really overwhelmed. Sometimes we need a bit of extra help to get our mental health back on track to a more calm, fulfilling and happy life. I've found the BetterHelp service so easy to use. I just answered a few questions and it matched me to a credentialed therapist who I can chat to either online, on the phone or even via video call. It's really easy to get signed up to this service. You just click the link in our description and on the screen now. Clicking the link also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. I definitely find Christmas stressful even though I love the holidays, but I find that regular sessions with my lovely therapist can help me gain some more freedom from the mental load I carry around, and she even gives me techniques I can use to help me relax and get more out of my life. And if I ever felt like my therapist wasn't quite the right fit, which can be common when starting therapy, then BetterHelp makes it super easy to switch to a new therapist. So I really hope this partnership with BetterHelp can help our subscribers live a happier and healthier life, just like they've helped over 4 million others already. Once again, the link is in the description below and on the screen now for 10% off your first month. Thank you again to BetterHelp for working with us. Can you actually remember the order
No.
that you've done stuff in?
No. No, I was just trying to think of that actually.
I don't even think I can remember the order in which we've been away in the van, like where we went when we went to Riyadh or the train
So in
thing.
fact I can roughly, yeah, I can remember. Obviously the big step was doing the floor. I couldn't really do much of this, well I couldn't do any of this until I'd done the floor. So prepped the floor, put insulation down, battened it, then I put the I'd originally planned to actually buy a new thermally insulated floor, but when I lifted the factory floor, it's such thick plywood and really heavy duty, good quality stuff, so I actually put it back down on top of the insulation. So there was some battened insulation, then the original floor back on, and then this, I can't remember what it was called, this, whatever this...
it's hospital grade vinyl, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really heavy duty, non-slip vinyl.
It's really, really good. I do remember worrying actually when you said you were going to put the floor back down that it was going to be too thick, because the reason why we wanted to go for the sort of insulated floor was because it was much more compact, and I was worried that we weren't going to have the head height. Yeah,
we were concerned. That's partly a reason why we didn't go for a 4Motion one, because that you lose 100mm of head height essentially.
That's a lot as well. That's like that.
Now looking back at it, you could probably have got away with not even insulating the floor potentially. But it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. You can sit here with your feet on the floor at night time with no shoes on, and you don't have cold feet. So. And
the dog sleeps on the floor. I mean, Bentley is a massive polar bear dog, isn't he?
Yeah, and
he does like the cold.
Yeah.
However, it's still nicer for him to have, and also with the kids wandering around, like toddling around with their feet, and Lena's going to be crawling soon, you know. So it's
one of those jobs that we'll not really have any idea unless someone else builds a van exactly the same but doesn't insulate the floor and we try it out. we'll never know.
So if you subscribe to the channel, will you please just build your van exactly the same as ours but without an insulated floor, and let us have a look? That'd be great, thanks.
Another thing we did with the floor is we made sure we didn't want a step anywhere. So I know there's a step between the actual cab and that, but the rest of the floor is flat, because so many camper vans nowadays have steps in them where they have like a false floor and more insulation in other parts, and a lot of people try and level this cab out with the back bit, which I get that, because my legs is a step down, you know, you do have that, but we wanted a flat floor for Bentley. That was a real priority. But anyway, after the floor, I think my next step was I wanted to get the rock and roll bed in.
Thank God for Jed.
Yeah, so again, huge help from Jed at Campervan Culture. But before I could put the bed in, I needed to do the insulation, boarding and everything at the side of the rock and roll bed, because there's no way I was going to be able to get to that when the bed was in. So I battened it, put a bit of board on, and I actually carpeted that portion. I put a little cutout as well with a USB socket in, so you can just chuck your phone in there. The only thing I'd need to finish off is I carpeted around and sort of tucked it all in, and I really want to get a small net just to screw onto the side, but I cannot find one anywhere. I can only find massive ones, or they're too small or they're too thick. You know, I need somewhere that does like custom
I reckon
nets
I
with
could
plastics
make
around.
one.
Yeah,
I just don't ever have time.
What was the next thing we did?
Well, the seat probably.
Yeah, oh yeah. So from that, yeah, the seat went in. I needed Jed's help with that, definitely, because you cannot locate bolts through without someone being on the other side to put the nut on the bolt. So there's no way I was going to be able to do that. And
well, with it also being travel seats, we really wanted to make sure it was as secure as possible. So you used the biggest, thickest... I
can't remember if it was 4 or 6 mil stainless steel. And because it was stainless steel, it was impossible to drill through. What I should have done... Well, if I knew exactly where everything was going to go... sorry, this is... I should explain. This is for the bracket underneath. There's a big bracket that goes underneath, round one of the chassis members. I took the idea, actually, from Urban Arc Overland, Aidan, on that channel. He did that. I stole the idea, did it, had the local fabricator make it in stainless steel. What I should have done is I should have had it made in steel, then just powder coated, because then we would have been able to drill through it. I really need a plasma cutter to be able to cut through stainless steel easily. So I went to Jed's and we went through about 12 drill bits on his pillar drill. His pillar drill was steaming, smoking and all sorts. It was quite a game. But we got it sorted, we got it mounted underneath. And another good thing about going to Jed was because he works on vans all the time, he just had the confidence just to know exactly where to put it. He just went, yeah, you know, measured, drilled the holes and just knew what to do. Whereas although I've got more confidence now in drilling holes in the van, at that time it was a little bit nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah, I was glad I was at home.
I think from that, I think I started on the bed frame, if I remember rightly. Yeah, so again...
Well, so the bed frame went in before the electrics, didn't it?
Yeah, the
so,
bed frame went in and then it came back out again, actually. It went in...
because it was winter still when we did the bed frame.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Because I remember freezing and having my picture taken looking out the back of the van whilst I was on the bed.
In fact, I think the bed frame was put in before even the floor was put in, and there was a reason for that.
Well, it doesn't attach to the floor for a start, which is all right.
It's mounted on the side. I had sort of these initial thoughts that maybe we could use it, you know, just really as soon as the seat was in we could go away with just the bed frame in and a mattress on. Turns out we didn't. The actual main reason why we chose to put the bed frame in so early was because we got approached by Emma Mattresses. So they said, we'd like to do a video with you guys, we'd like to give you a mattress. So yeah,
it was worth it. That mattress, Emma Sleep, and this isn't even an advert, but that mattress is lovely. Like, even as pregnant Lizzie, I was loving that mattress. I want to steal it for the house, but I'm not allowed to.
If I had a boat, I would sail out, take every brother and sister of mine. We'd roll in the sunshine and sleep when it's dark, hoping to find somewhere we can come.
But then obviously, because we had the brackets in place, we could start doing the sides in the garage area and start building that up, because I think the next thing, was it not the electrics? No,
it was actually the water tank. The water tanks went in. So we put
But again, we still had to do the sides.
Yes, yeah, the side had to be built for that. So we fitted a 100 litre over arch water tank, fresh water tank on the side, on the driver's side. And then I fitted a 70 litre wastewater tank, pretty much where the spare wheel would have gone. Well, that's where I fitted it originally, right where the spare wheel was.
I was going to say, I remember this.
And I stepped back and I kept looking at it thinking, it's too far back. I was so worried it hung down, because basically the back of the van curves up a bit. You have your wheel there and then it curves up, and it really hung down and sort of sat a bit low right at the back of the van. I was just worried about going over a bump. It's already quite a big overhang on this van, and hitting the water tank on the bottom there. So I took it all apart and shifted it forward just behind the rear axle, and now I'm much happy with that. Now the water tanks are not plumbed in yet. The fresh water tank is getting there. That's close to being routed all the way to the tap, but the wastewater tank hasn't got anything plumbed into it yet. The only thing that is located into the wastewater tank is the actual sender that sends the information for how full it is. So that's just connected. But there, that's it on the water tanks.
At some point we did the ceiling though as well, didn't we?
We did that afterwards. We definitely did the electrics before we did the ceiling. That's more of a...
Oh, because the lights
recent.
had to be put on. So yes, the electrics would have been next, and that's what we got a lot of Victron stuff, didn't we? From
yeah. So we worked with Roma on that.
the battery, that big old battery.
Yeah, they gave us a good discount on the battery and gave us a discount as well on the Victron stuff. But probably the most valuable thing about working with Roma is just their knowledge, you know, getting their knowledge and getting their schematic to work.
That schematic was so good.
It's incredible.
I mean, it's what, £150 I think for them to draw out a schematic for you, and just to be able to work off that.
I think it's free if you actually buying a battery from them as well over a certain value, so it's well worth it.
Oh, definitely.
You still need to have a bit of electrical knowledge, there's no question about that. You need to be confident in actually connecting stuff up, but if you're completely new to all of this, they will guide you through it. They will help you definitely. And that was a big job. That took a lot of research, a lot of...
There was a lot of times as well when we could get in touch with them though, wasn't there?
Yeah, all
with
the time,
Roma.
just dropping them emails about settings
and he
stuff.
would give us answers pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Even when he was on holiday, actually, he was sending us info. So yeah, I obviously built the board, mounted everything on it. I remember it's a beautiful sunny day, so that must have been back in the summer.
Yeah.
Fixed that to the side of the wall. That took a lot of work, actually, the electrics. There was
It looks
just
beautiful
so
though.
much. I'm pleased
It
with how it
looks
looks.
very nice.
But it was properly like, mount everything on, run all the cables through the back, get them on, connect stuff up, realise, oh, I should have done this, take it back off again, there's a lot of to and fro-ing with that. Yeah, I mean, are we going to talk about the real small jobs? Because before I even did that, I carpeted the back bit around the back doors.
Yeah.
So there's all those kind of jobs.
But I do remember like popping out every now and again to see what Sean was up to.
I remember Harvey was running around out the back with me whilst I was doing the work on the electrics.
And so I remember it always being a little bit sort of chaotic, but I'd come out and I'd be like, nothing looks like it's changed, but it would be like little frustratingly small things that needed, even like the bulkhead. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, that was done after the electrics, I think.
Yeah,
because
but you wouldn't even know that anything has been done to that.
Once the electrics were done, I think we were then, because then all the lights were all were wired in and connected, but they were just dangling down. I was really keen to get the ceiling on, but before I could do the ceiling, I had to insulate over the top of the cab here, because this is well known for, because it's a curved bit of metal, the other side of this fabric, if you don't insulate it, like when we're sat here, you can see how it's steamed up on the front here. It basically condenses up on the top there as well, and water dribbles down through the A-pillars and just basically fills the cup holders at the front here.
So you just put a cup there, and you can get a glass of water every now and again.
So that was a massive job. That was it's not fun at all. You have to take all this off, A-pillars off, all this has to be removed. It all drops down. If you're doing this as a job, there's a guide on the Facebook, on the VW Crafter and MAN Facebook group by, I can't remember the name of the guy now. Yeah, it's a guy called Martin. I just followed his guide. Fantastic. There's no way I would have been able to do it without. I would have broken so much more stuff. I did break the handle in the front there, which I need to get hopefully from
which we've still not replaced, by the way.
Then once the cab was all insulated, I then did the roof, the ceiling.
Actually, I did. Well, you put the battens on and things like that. And I remember I definitely had Lena by this point, and I was so sick of just looking after kids all the time. I was like, I want to paint the ceiling. But then you decided that we were going to paint it with an oil-based paint first.
Well, yeah,
which was the worst paint in the world.
It's a thin pine tongue and groove ceiling, and I used cladding clips because I wanted the screws to. I didn't want to see any screws. I wanted it to be hidden, so I used cladding clips and started from the middle because I wanted the middle board to be where all the lights fit in. I didn't want the lights to be. I wanted a centre piece basically all the way down the middle, and then do the boards from that. But if you use cladding clips, you can only go one way. They're designed to basically put the bottom bit of wood in, cladding clip, next bit of wood, cladding clip, and obviously like that all the way up. But if you're going from the middle out, that's all right that way, but then you can't go the other way. And I had a right game trying to work out how to do that.
Well, we flipped it, didn't we? And then we actually filled the middle gap, because there was then a gap between where the two sort of met in the middle.
The two grooves.
You couldn't put those together, could you? So we then filled that with just wood filler, I think, didn't we? Smoothed it off, and it looks perfect.
It is spot on. It's
but
really good.
But obviously, because we use that sort of wood, we had to oil base paint it first to stop where the knots and things are, and there might be some sap or whatever that comes through. Sometimes it can come through the paint as well, so we had to sort of finish them off, then use the oil based paint. It was the worst paint in the world because it was so like sloppy, and I was worried about it going everywhere.
I actually
on new
started
chairs
that.
and...
I started using that paint. I remember starting in this corner. I did it. I hate painting anyway. I did a bit, and I was like, stuff this. I went and said, Lizzie, you need to do this. I can't do this.
So I palmed the children off on you instead, and then I started just painting and put on like a podcast or something. And it was, you know, it's not a fun job really, but it was just a bit of mind space for me to be able to do something. And then you can see the results straight away. So I put that oil-based one on first, then we finally went over the top of it with a water-based one once it had dried fully, because oil takes ages to dry. But I think it looks really good. We're well chuffed with it, aren't we? And I like the fact that it's a nice white roof, so it opens it all out a lot better. And I think that was the point when it started to finally feel like a camper van. We'd done the ceiling, we'd done the floor, and we had a seat and a bed. Yeah,
and then straight after that had been done, I actually fitted the blinds. Yeah, these are so good. Ooh. They are so good. Yeah, these are fantastic. These are swell shades. They're a bit pricey, but you get what you pay for. They fit perfectly in the aperture of the window. They do all sorts of different vans. They were spot on, and they got loads of different colours you can pick from. I had to get the blinds put in, and I also had to finish off this door, because the next step was probably one of the biggest transformations, wasn't it? And that was doing the kitchen.
I just want to say about the door as well. The door is hilarious because you covered, so there's panels that are already fitted to the door, and they've already got the clips on as well. So Sean covered those panels, or the bottom two, in the carpeting that we've got, put the clips back on, and then he literally tore apart the entire garage searching for the top one. Turns out it never existed.
Yeah, they don't. The top bit there and the top bit on the back doors doesn't come with the van. For I have no idea why. The bottom ones do.
So we're going to have to get the clips and something that we can use.
In fact, I probably had to look back at that photo that you showed right at the start to make sure I wasn't going crazy.
You did.
So yeah, so I'm going to have to build a little bit of ply. But the reason why I've not got around to that one is because I had to do these bottom ones because you can't access the sliding door. And that was a huge... fantastic recommendation from someone either on the Facebook group or maybe commenting on our channel. Basically said, make sure you do this door before you put the kitchen in because you can't get to it. Now it's like, I would not have thought of that.
There's so much, isn't there, where you have to be like, right, I'll do that, but I have to do that first, and then I have to do this, and it's almost like a jigsaw. You have to have all the pieces out already in order to be able to start fitting them all together, and we don't have all the pieces. So
we're really at that stage at the minute as well, just with the way everything's going, but we'll talk about that in another video. Yeah,
but I think it was at this point where we had the electrics, the bed, the chair, we had... Oh, at some point the heater was put in.
Yeah, the heater was put in before the...
It was after the electrics. No, it was before the electrics.
Before the electrics.
Yeah, so the heater went in before the electrics actually, so we forgot about that. So the diesel heater, and you had to plumb that into the actual diesel engine.
Yeah, into the tank, yeah, drop the tank, which is just under where I'm sat now, drop the tank. But that was probably... Because it was done before the electrics, that was the biggest achievement I had made for the actual van build, because when I finally pressed the button and it powered up and the van got hot.
Oh yeah.
Because I've never done that before. I cut a big hole in the bottom to be able to slot the diesel heater through. I dropped the fuel tank, ran diesel lines to connect to that. It felt like just sort of 6 months before I'd even thought about doing the diesel heater, I started researching it, and that felt like an absolute mammoth task. I was thinking, how am I going to be able to do this? You know, this is real big thing. So that felt like an enormous achievement. So the diesel heater is an auto term 4D. It's a real common diesel heater, real good quality one. We bought that from Bobble Vans when we actually bought all our water system, but I didn't do the water system until that's probably one of the most recent jobs I've been doing. But yeah, so I got the diesel heater in, and again, yeah, you know, that, like I said, it's just a massive achievement, and it properly meant that it was another step in comfort if we want to go away in the van before it's finished. So it was really good, wasn't it?
Well, the first time we went away in the van, Lena was 8 weeks old.
Yeah.
So she was tiny still, and we went to the Royal International Air Tattoo. So we had all of that stuff done so we could use the heater. We didn't have any water, so we had to take the water with us.
Yeah.
And it was completely off grid. I think we took with us a power bank as well as a backup, because I knew, because we were going to be like 4 or 5 days off grid.
Yeah.
And obviously we had sterilizers, milk machines, like all sorts of things to use that we really could not run out of power with. However,
yeah, and we had
found it great, didn't we? Oh, we needed the kettle as well.
Yeah, we hadn't bought like a travel kettle and things like that, so we had real
stupid.
domestic high powered stuff, so we
Yeah.
had to use a portable power station to be able to run that.
We took an air fryer, didn't we, as well?
Yeah, for the kids.
I think we took my mum's air fryer.
So that we could give Harvey some turkey dinosaurs and stuff. But it was but it was the first real test of all the electrical system as well. We weren't using it in anger really, because we had a power bank with us as well. But the real good thing to see was the fact that when the sun did come out, it was charging the batteries back up really quickly.
Yeah.
Everything was just working really, really nicely actually. And funny enough, even to this date, we haven't gone on a campsite and plugged the van in yet. We've only used it off grid.
True. Yeah. I forgot.
It does have a hookup. It's available to use, but we've never actually used it. I've tested it here on the drive, but.
But then I think we went.
Big step.
Well, I don't think that came until after the next trip, because then we did another trip where we went to go to Corfe Castle that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had a look at the trains and stuff, and again that was another test. I don't know what you did between those 2 trips. Maybe nothing. Maybe something. Who knows?
I haven't done anything since then.
But then before our last big trip of the summer, when we went to the Goodwood Revival, we finally got our kitchen.
Yeah, we picked it up actually on the way back from Corfe Castle.
Yes, we did, didn't we?
Flat
that's right.
Pack from Evo Motion Design. Yeah, and it was a bit daunting. You get a lot of boxes, and they're pretty well renowned for having pretty terrible instructions, and it lived up to that.
However, it does look.
Yes, it's worth
amazing.
the effort. It's definitely worth the effort. It's in Verde Pastel, really nice colour with a bamboo worktop.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is such a big difference in the van, isn't it? You know, the fact that you have a kitchen. I mean, remember when we were at the Revival with the door open? It was.
I think that moment when we were at the Revival, that I was stood at the kitchen area. We'd done some prep for food or whatever, and I was looking at the sun setting, and I was just thinking, this is what we're doing it for. You know, this is exactly why we've been doing this, is so that we can go on adventures, have the door open, just have our lovely space, like, and I know it's not finished, but it just felt like this is our home, you know, home away from home. So it does make a huge difference, I think, the kitchen, and I love how it looks. It looks really nice, that colour, the bamboo top, you know, I'm really happy with the gas hob when it works, and that'll be one of the next things you do.
Also, not long after the kitchen, there's even little things like I put the Vandermoon organisers on the back doors, so they're really useful. You just put loads of bits there, like cables for power banks, a few tools,
dummies. Yeah,
you put dummies and your phone in there at night time because up by the bed. But that's really good. But there's also something really exciting actually from Vandermoon.
Behind the camera.
Behind the camera,
we're not going to show you. I mean, it's just boxes at the moment, but
behind the camera, we've got some bits that we're going to install from Vandermoon, which are going to make a massive difference to this. And I'm really excited to put them in. Again,
it's going to make it feel more homely again, and you know, we have to do more panelling and things like that. So it's going to really come along, and it's going to be interesting to see maybe this time next year. Where we're at and what it looks like, and hopefully we'll be a lot more complete than we are.
And then after the Vandermoon stuff, after those organisers, I've then started on the actual getting the water supply installed, plumbed in, and installing the Bobble Van's hot water heater, and that all is connected to the diesel heater and all that kind of stuff. So it's certainly not finished, but it's been a huge step that has, because that is quite a complicated system to plumb in. The instructions are fantastic on that. They're really, really good guides. But that's really good. And this is all stuff that, because we've got these incredible trips plan next year,
Yes.
which are definitely worth being subscribed for, because we cannot wait. But the good thing about having these trips planned is it forces me. I work so much better under a deadline, and for those trips I definitely want the gas hob to be in, I want the fridge to be installed, I want all the water plumbing to be put in, apart from the shower. I know I won't get the shower done.
We need to buy the fridge as well.
We do need to buy the fridge. It's quite expensive fridge, but I also want loads more storage, which is why we've been in touch with Van der Moon. So yeah, there's all these steps that I definitely want done before we go away on our big trip. So like I say, I work so much better under pressure, and maybe I'll say the trip is right at the end of May. I'll probably start doing it all in the middle of May.
Standard. I mean, it's taken you a year to get to this point. I mean,
Yeah.
I created life in 9 months, so
Yeah. Don't we know it? So obviously there's a lot more left to do, there's tons to do, but it has been quite nice looking back at what we have actually
genuinely
achieved.
you have done amazing. I mean, we've had a lot to contend with this year. We've had we already had our 3-year-old, you know, we've had a baby as well, plus we've been looking after the dog. A lot of family stuff has happened as well. We've just had a lot going on this year, and to fit all of that in around both of us working, obviously I'm on maternity leave now, but you know, you working full-time still, it's been a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah,
it has been a lot. So
It's been
yes,
loads.
some of you may think it's slow progress because you watch these videos of other YouTubers who get this done in 6 weeks and they're off. They're full-time YouTubers, we're not. You know, we're doing the best with what we've got. But I'm genuinely really proud of you, especially because you're the one who's done a majority of the work in here. I've been producing children, but you've done so much. I did paint the ceiling though, so you know, that is the best
Completed
bit. Completed it, yeah. I'm going to take all the credit. So
Yeah.
we just want to say thank you.
Oh, and the wheels. We installed the wheels.
Oh yeah. There was some, in fact, that came really early before like everything, because I remember driving to work whilst I was still pregnant, and people saying to me at work like, oh, the van looks amazing, because we'd got the wheels done, we had the roof rack done, and from the outside it all looked like it was all nicely done, and people were asking me, can I have a look inside the van? And I was thinking, no, please don't, because it's
No
empty. Yeah, so there's no point. So yeah, that was really early on actually.
Yeah, it was.
But that made a big difference as well to the outside of the van anyway. But since then, obviously, we've done quite a lot inside. Anyway, back to the point. Thank you very much for watching this year. If you've got to the end of this video, even more thank you, because we're so chuffed to be bringing you along this journey with us, and we really appreciate each and every one of you who watch the videos. So, but as a thank you to us, could you please give the video a thumbs up, because it really does help us get these videos out to the people who actually want to see them. And also, if you're not subscribed, because a lot of people who watch these videos aren't actually subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Again, that one really does help us out, bring you a lot more content about all our different travels, the madhouse that is this van build and how long it's taking,
And van tours as well.
and
Like
van
that.
tours and product reviews, and
Yeah.
you know, we really try and bring you as honest a review of everything that we can. So just thank you for the last year, and we really hope that you're going to come with us on the journey next year as well.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Bye.
Song just reminds me of you, and it breaks my heart. You're still here, though we're apart. I'm seeing your face in my dreams. I can't escape you. Like a movie on repeat, the scenes just go on. I'm hearing your voice.